All right. Good morning, everybody. Good evening to those in the Asian zone, and good night for those who are still sleeping and gonna watch us a little bit later on. It's a pleasure to be back here. Today we're gonna have a very special company. It's been my buddy during the whole week. He's helping the interviews, and he's doing so much. It's gonna be a pleasure to have you, Victor Backe. Victor, good morning.
Hello, hello, good morning.
Exciting to be here, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
you
a lot
couldn't.
of amazing bowlers. The talent is shining all around, and the scoring is keep going up, 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 and higher and higher. Pretty soon we're gonna have to make the games a little shorter. Maybe go down to 9 frames. Otherwise, they're gonna make us look real bad to those of us who don't really score that high. Stats right now, we have Finland still on top after a 218 game at the beginning. He managed to win that game. Robin Ilomar is sitting comfy in the second place. He also had the 214 game, 30 pins bonus as he made it. Then we have a strong beginning on the morning. It looks like he had a very good coffee in Norway. Matthias, he shot 253, won his game. We have Blake from Australia sitting down in the fourth place. And if we look down at the cat at the moment, it's going to be Malta is going to be on the top 8 with 21-17 pins. That's putting him ahead. Let me see, 31 and 17. That's 48 pins ahead of the cut, but we still have 5.5 games to go, plus the bonuses. I think we can expect to see a lot of moving up and down still. What do you think, buddy?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've seen scores going up and down, and you see, for example, Czech Republic had a 168 game in the last one, and that can lose you up to 100 pins.
Absolutely. If you that's the things that's happening. The lanes, they thought they were not that simple at the beginning, but the pattern turned out not to be so tough. And you have some friction on the outside. As soon as you have some friction on the outside, you can get a little bit more comfy. You know, you can miss, and the ball's still gonna come back to you. And we could say there's a little bit less of room to the left of the target, or we should say inside the target for those who bowl lefty or back up. But still, there is a bit of a room. So I would say my eyes told me when I've been watching uh, right from behind the bowlers, not sitting down on the TV room as I am now. It's a little bit easier to see when you're out there. I can see that some point they can even miss up to a couple of boards outside at the breakpoint, and even one board inside on the breakpoint, and the ball's still gonna hit the pocket.
Yeah, I've been trying the pattern a bit throughout the week after the play is finished. So of
True,
course,
that's true. You
that,
bowled also for the event we had on Wednesday with the
yeah,
Swedish superstars, and you were part of the young, talented ones. So you had the chance to test the lanes a little bit.
yeah. My experience was that it's not that tough in the beginning, but the other days when I've tried it after they bowled 6 or 8 games on it, that's when it gets tough because of the urethane carry down.
It's a
And
lot of
it's hard to get the
urethane
back
going
in.
on. It's a lot of urethane in place. So obviously, as we have been explaining this past couple of days, when the guys threw the urethane, especially the purple hammer, it's a very low differential bowl, so it's going to make a very small flare amount. And that means that the same part of the ball is going to be touching the ground all the way down the lane. So as soon as it hits the dry area, it's going to deposit a little bit of that oil it's carrying. And that's making the back end a little bit tougher. That's making the lanes a little bit tighter. But it also fun to see how the different bowlers approach that moment of transition.
Yeah,
We have seen some of them moving a little bit deeper and slowing down a little bit. Yesterday, Robin, for example, the last 2 or 3 games, he moved a little bit in, he sloped, hooked the ball, and he ended up with extremely high series. He shot 259, 267, 248, but that's already 760 something, plus the bonus. That means he had like 850, 860 pins with the bonuses on the last 3 games. That made him jump all the way up. So it obviously was a very good move for him. And we've seen all the way around on Finland, for example. Lucas was moving further outside. He was shotting the ball even more firm, increasing the speed. So he was trying to stay on the friction. And even if his games were not as high as Robbins, he still shot 232, 233, 231, won the 3 games. So that shows a lot of consistency. And that proves that, as I like to say when I coach to some people, in bowling, nothing is black and white. Everything is always in those grays areas. You
yeah.
just have to find which type of gray is going to suit better on your game, which type of adjustment is going to work out better for you. And It's very interesting to see even some of the one-handed guys standing far outside and getting some friction, and it's becoming yeah, well, it's top 16 after all. We have to expect these kids are the best bowlers from their own countries, so we were already expecting to see some talent, but they are even one step beyond of what I was expecting. This new generation, they can do so many things with the ball. Go back up, go normal, increase the speed, decrease the speed, grip it more, grip it less, bounce it down the lane. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting for me, obviously, as an opponent to see what they're doing when I go to tournaments, especially the youth ones. That's when you see everybody's throwing back up, standing way out to the edge, doing what they do best, essentially.
I guess for you it must be a very exciting week as well. I mean, your father owns the bowling alley. You spend here many days during the year. You started to bowl a little bit more and started to like the game a little bit more. So
Yeah.
you're on that process, on that learning curve. So I guess it might be also not only an inspiration, but a motivation when you see kids around your age doing what they do. It's gonna give you some. It's gonna ignite in you some extra hunger to try out things and learn new things and improve your own game, so you can be out there fighting with these kids on the next
You
one.
know, one thing that made me really happy in the qualifying was that I'm a one-hander.
Hmm.
So it made me really happy to see Slovakia at the top, and he's a one-hander.
Exactly.
That made me happy,
Exactly.
showing that there is still some hope. The Danish player, of course,
Danish guy
yeah,
as well, bowling one-handed, and he was doing so consistent. He was doing so good.
yeah,
You're absolutely right. I mean, we tend to forget that because this is all this social media kind of, excuse me for the language, but bullshitting going on, talking about how two hands is no real bowling and two hands this or two hands that. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if we look at the PBA, the most successful bowler for the last 4 seasons, EJ Tackett, he bowls one-handed. He's no way he's using any purple hammer because obviously Motif doesn't have any purple hammer.
yeah. They're not allowed to throw it on the tour.
Exactly, and they're
Yeah,
not even allowed to throw it on the tour. But a single-handed, he
yeah,
still dominates bowling. And when we come now to this tournament, they are 25, 30 years younger than EJ and Jason and some of the big names on the tour. And it really doesn't matter. Of course, we see perhaps a bit more two-handed bowlers than one-handed bowlers, but the one-handed bowlers, they are really doing good.
yeah. I think in a way they're the same percentage of the one-handers made the cut as the percentage of two-handers. I don't know exact numbers, of course, but I see.
At least it
Yeah,
was pretty close to 50% on top 16.
yeah,
That's true. And the only thing
yeah,
we can see a little bit difference from the 3 days on the qualifying round to the round robin is now there is only one bowler per lane instead of two bowlers per lane. So that affects the transition a little bit different. But today we may see something a little bit or slightly different from yesterday as well, since they get a better idea on what's going to happen when it's only one bowler per lane. I've seen now on the warm-up, I was running throughout the racks, and I could see some of the bowlers went for even more grit today on the ball. They gave even more surface, and they tried to get or perhaps create a little bit of area at the very beginning of the warm-up. Not sure that's the smartest thing to do on this format, because after all, you just bowl one game there and then you move to the next pair and then
yeah.
to the next pair and then to the next pair. So it's not that you're going to be able to use that area you created on the warm-up during the day. It's
No,
just going to last for one game, and maybe you're going to make it actually easy for somebody else who's coming right after you over there.
yeah. In a way, I don't know how much it improves the lane for anybody else. It depends on how you play it. But if you throw a lot of grit on the urethane, it tends to trash the lane almost. But
I would agree with
I
that.
didn't see how. I didn't watch the warm up
How can they
really, but
benefit on that? Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I guess it mostly or mainly the reason I can think of is that they want to have more control while there's a lot of oil in the lanes. When the lanes are fresh, it's obviously at the moment that we have less friction on the heads. And in order for them, since they have so much rev rate and high speed, it would make sense that they give a little bit more of surface so the ball reads a little bit sooner, moves a little bit smoother, and they get a better control of whatever is happening.
yeah,
Terms of scoring, we see a lot of strikes going on. Remember, guys, they are playing a round robin, so that means each bowler on a pair it's facing his opponent, and it's not only about striking and scoring a lot, but also try to win as many games as possible, so you get those 30 pins of bonus over and over again. And what I can say for now, we have on lane 3 and 4, it was Lucas. He shot 216. He won by 4 pins. Lucas is the Finnish guy. He's still on the top. He's leading on the top. Then when I look at lane 5 and 6, it was a 216 against 191 for Estonia. Excuse me. Lane 7 8, we have Denmark's gonna manage to win the first game on the day, and it's a game of 212 plus the bonus. That's gonna give him a little push up. Then unbelievable, Matthias shot 228 again, Norway, and he's gonna lose again. He's losing so many games by bowling so high. I mean, Matthias is currently at 242.6 average, scratch average, out of let me count, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 games, and he only won 4 of them.
Yeah, he's lost with a 244, a 227, 248, and a 268. Then a 192.
And now he just shot 228 and lost again.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to be so upset that everyone's scoring high against him. On the other hand, we could say that he's doing so good. He looks so strong, so consistent, so powerful that the opponents, when they get to him, is like, ooh, this is the guy I have to beat.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's happening to Matthias, but he's bowling unbelievable. Robin lost 214 against 244. Then we have a high game also for Michael Aaron, 236 against 217, and Hassan just shot 257. So he's probably going to move a little bit up. Cubate, he was a little bit far away from the cut now at the moment. It's 70 pins. He was short to the cut, but with the 257 plus the bonus, it's going to probably jump up closer to whatever the cut was.
Yeah, Australia got into second place after that game.
Blake,
Yeah, and overtook Robin. And I think Malta fell out of the cut. I don't really know who went in. Might have been Estonia.
Estonia, I think it was the guy that jumped back in with a 246 plus 30 in the bonus.
Yeah.
And but if you look at the bonuses, I mean, it's unbelievable. Actually, the guy with the highest average is sitting on the 4th place. That's Matthias with 241.1. But on bonuses, he's got only 120 pins. And if we look at Finland, it's 270 pins. So it's 150 pins on bonuses.
Yeah, and that's because Lucas has only lost 1 game. Even though he's been averaging currently about 2.5 pins lower
Than Matthias.
Yeah.
Amazing scoring anyway. I mean, every single guy on the top 8 is above 220 average. That tells you a lot. That tells you how the bowling has been evolving and how no longer you can win anything by bowling 225. You need to control every single aspect of the game. You want to make sure that you find the spot on the lane that gives you extra margin of error on both sides, but you also need to be aware of what ball are you using so you get the right amount of energy down the pins. We spoke yesterday with Robert Andersson, Swedish coach, former Swedish Team Sweden superstar, and he was actually commenting that for these kids, it's very usual that they have 2 or 3 of the same balls with a very similar layout, and what they actually do is just change the surface on them. So whenever one stops working, they just jump to the next one.
Yeah, when the lane chain starts to kick in a bit, get some pressure.
All right, Estonia seems to be feeling comfortable now. It's going to be an interesting game on lane 3 and 4. He just shot 246, but the body language that's one of the things as I grow older, I tend to see not only how the ball looks, not only how the reaction is creating on the lane, but also the body language of the bowler. That's gonna tell you a lot. Is he confident? He's not confident. So for the young ones there watching us and listening to whatever we are saying, if you're facing a if you're facing a match or you're facing an opponent on a step ladder or a round robin or whatever it may be, if you're not so sure what's going on, you can pay attention also to their body language. That's going to tell you, okay, now I need to concentrate even more, or I can relax because even if he had the strike, his body language is telling me he doesn't really know what goes on, or she doesn't really know what's going on. As you can see, it's a lot of aspects you can control in the game of bowling.
Yeah, and because bowling is probably 80% mental when you're right there on the lanes. I would say confidence matters a lot. It's just the feeling you have on the lane.
Okay, Victor, if I had to ask you, who do you think is going to be on the top three by the end of the day?
After round robin or after
Just
maximum?
for the moment, just a round robin.
I think for sure we're gonna see Lucas up there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I actually think we're gonna see the current top three stay, the current top three, with Lucas, Blake from Australia, and Robin.
You think it's going to stay with those three?
Yeah, because maybe Matthias could overtake Robin if he gets lucky with some wins once.
It's going to be very tight. I mean, I really have to say that Matthias is impressive.
Yeah.
He's super strong. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of power. He has a huge control on his wrist. He has been doing some of the warm up today, hooking the ball normal, and it looked as beautiful as the way he's bowling. He has decided to bowl on the left side of the lane all day long, all week long, we should say. He's been bowling back up, and he's shooting now on lane 5, and he gets a second. Oh no, he didn't get the messenger this time. Just got the 7 pin over there. But the amount of reps he produces and the speed of the ball, it makes it look so easy. It makes me even want to try the ball 2 hands again. Even knowing my speed is never gonna get up there.
Yeah.
But it makes it seem so simple.
Yeah.
Actually, when you look at him bowling, you feel like he's bowling on a house shot. He makes so many pocket shots, so many strikes. You think like, yeah, he's bowling on a very easy pattern.
Yeah,
It's not that it is that easy, but he is that good. Yep.
He's managing to take the ball to the pocket every time, and I mean, I've tried throwing backup balls just for fun, and sometimes it hurts my wrist, of course, but I think the hardest thing is just keeping the speed and the revs, and more importantly, the accuracy of throwing the ball the
wrong way, or
Yeah,
the opposite.
yeah,
Let's
the
say
opposite way.
the opposite way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rights or wrongs anymore.
Yeah.
If something we have learned with the pass of the time is that the game is evolving and is allowing you to do a lot more things that you were allowed to do back in the days. If we try to get this crazy bowling motion we have today back onto when my dad used to bowl or your granddad used to bowl in the middle of the 70s, when it was only wooden lanes and they had to resurface the lanes over and over again. It became a lot tougher back then. It wasn't that easy to score because of the oil machines were so much different than what we have today. The patterns were pretty much flat all over the place, and yeah, I mean it's a complete new game if we compare it to what the guys did 40, 50 years ago. There's another thing I like about Matthias, the bowler from Norway, and it's that he spares. He
He
can
does.
spare. He hasn't missed a single pin in the whole week yet.
Let's actually check
We should check.
his spare stats here. He's got a spare rate of 92.6%.
92.6, and that already is including some of the splits and washouts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Let's see the
okay,
10
we're
pin
looking
here.
at the stats.
He
He's
has
got
he's not missed a single 10 pin throughout the entire week.
100% for the 10 pin, 100% for the 2 pin,
88% for the 7
88.
pin.
7 pin he missed. He missed a
3
couple,
times out of 25.
but yeah, I mean,
It's very impressive.
compared to his generation, I would say he's not only one of the best striking, but he's also one of the best on sparing. That's going to give you an extra advantage, especially when the lanes become a little bit tricky. Okay, Lucas has moved again into a higher speed game. He's moving further out again. He's already increasing the speed on the ball, and it seems to work. It seems to be very comfortable for him to just move further outside and make the ball go a little bit faster. And also we can see Australia. I mean, Blake is becoming more and more comfortable as soon as the week goes on. If we look at yesterday's game, he only had one game below 200, which was actually 199. And today he's already started with 235, 237, and feeling very comfortable about what he's doing.
Yeah, where is he right now? There he is, in lane number 8.
Lane number 8, and
he's
start
also
with
nine
a
spare,
9
four
spare,
bagger.
4 bagger.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been looking confident, but I understood that he goes to college in the United States.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Actually, he was the rookie of the year last season. So obviously, when you become rookie of the year in the United States with a huge amount of bowlers they have over there, you really need to be a good bowler. Otherwise, you have no chance. He's sitting now on lane 7, looking for the 15 row. Oh, this one he went further outside, so he got an extra friction. The ball jumped, but he had a Brooklyn, so he's going to be very happy about it. I'm pretty sure he's going to give a good use to that Brooklyn he's got.
Yeah. Let's see what do we have. Anybody with those? I see Estonia's open with a 7 bagger here.
I just said it, Estonia. The body language, remember I said after the second frame, the body language said like, ooh, now he's comfortable again.
Yeah. He's still the only one to throw 300 in the boys division, I think.
I was actually going to say that. It was a guy shot 300, so he wouldn't feel the pressure to go for it again.
No, we've had one in the women's division as well. So
it was Costa Rica.
Yeah.
What about that girl?
She's got a wonderful
can throw
race.
the ball, right?
Yeah.
She does it unbelievable good. She's got an amazing technique. But what I like most of her, because we have been doing those interviews, she's super humble. She doesn't want to say anything wrong at all. She's very respectful, not only with the opponents or the opponents and the other bowlers, but also with other brands and other type of bowling balls, whatever she's using. And she's gonna be a superstar for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now we see Estonia going for 8 in a row and gets it.
And as we said, Blake gave a good use of that Brooklyn, so he got another strike.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. At the moment, the lanes are becoming a little bit smoother. It's lane 13 and 14. They are not scoring that high over there. We can probably talk a bit of the pressure of being close to the gut because it's Malta playing on lane 13, who is actually currently 20 pins short to the cut, and the other guy is Malaysia, who hasn't really found, you know, it's not that he's bowling bad. I mean, he's sitting on nearly 214 average, but since the averages are so high, when you bowl 214, 210, 215, you lose a lot of the pins, you lose a lot of the matches, so you don't get any bonus. And that becomes very expensive at the end of the day.
Look at the numbers, it's actually only, I say, 100 pins outside the cut with 5 games to go, including this one. That's not impossible.
No, absolutely. I mean, 100 pins, you can get them back. With the bonuses, even at the very last game, you can manage to jump up.
Yeah.
But of course, they want to start doing it the sooner the better, so they don't have to suffer that much or put so much pressure into them at the very end. Okay, it's getting interesting. We got Stonian with front 9. Is he going to make the second one? What do you think? That would be cool, yeah? Go back home and, you know what? I made 2 perfect games on a World Youth Cup.
Yeah.
That's something he's going to be able to explain to his family for the rest of his life.
Sure. So, pretty clear of the cuts for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's already won the match because Milan to
68, 210. He can make about 210 because he had a couple of low carries after spares.
Yeah.
It's fun that you make 210 and we say it's going to be a low game. And we have a buddy coming into the office. bringing
Go out and make some videos.
bringing some goodies. Or maybe you don't have any breakfast left when you come back into the room. Okay, Estonia, lane 3, looking for the number 10. Oh, it was a bit spin. It was a bit spin. You saw the release. You see now how he did it as well. He did the hand like who has spinned it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It was a good shot. It was on the right line. It was on the right target. Just the hand position was slightly more on the side.
It's get it down quite far.
Yeah, exactly. The ball went a little bit further down, and the pin action wasn't as good as he was expecting it.
Actually make that. 236.
236, and if Flake misses, it's gonna be on the 215, and he's gonna be forced to double actually.
Yeah.
If the other one strikes out. Oh, we were talking about spraying. That's what happened with Estonia. 9 in a row, then you leave the 10 pin and you miss it by half the lane. He's not gonna be happy about that.
Close matches, and we see on 9 and 10, Denmark and Singapore.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
We're working 6 in a row, 9, 7, 8 spare, 8 spare.
And actually, they are sitting on places 5 and 6. So whoever wins this one is gonna kind of slide a little bit away from the other one.
I think we're 8 pins ahead of Denmark.
Oh,
So
that's right. I didn't see it.
There.
I didn't see there was a big
There were a few jumps in school. Still, because the effective max score is 330 instead of 300. It makes it a lot easier to game decisions.
And we can see a very strong end of the game also for Robin. Lanes 13 and 14. No, 11 and 12. 11 and 12. Shot 237 with the last 6 strikes to win the match. And as we keep saying, if you bowl above 230 and you get the bonus,
260.
You're always happy.
Yeah.
You're always happy. You know, you're running a little bit up or escaping a little bit from the cut, from the 9th position. And pretty much at the moment, that's all they want. I mean, they want to be in top 8. That's it. It doesn't really matter if you're first or you're 8th because it's gonna cut to 0 again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, you might have counted that wrong. 79. So many points here. Parallel struggles. Yeah, let's see. Sweden is going to beat Slovakia. So that's actually going to be 10th place. Sitting, let's see, 40 pins also. 30 pins. Good. Going to shoot 230 strikes out.
What about Norway? 279. He just, no, excuse me, 268.
Yeah.
He pulled all the game back up, 12 frame. He decided to go normal with to get the strike. Yeah. Yeah. This kid has a lot of talent. I mean, a lot of talent.
Finland shoots 246 as well. Scores.
Well, Singapore and Denmark are pretty tight at the moment. Looks like they're both going for a 240 game. And they are only one pin, one from the other. So it's still not decided who's going to take the bonus. Right. No, 250.
Yeah, 250.
258.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's gonna win because Singapore got a flip. 250 against 230 plus the bonus. Denmark and Singapore super tight on the 5th and 6th place. Maybe even drop down to 6 and 7.
Yeah, with Estonia.
Estonia shooting 267 plus the bonus. Now he's still gonna be a little short.
Yeah.
but it's gonna be actually top three is gonna become a little tighter now because even if Blake won his match, Robin won with a higher game, and especially Matthias with 268, we say, yeah, 268 plus the bonus, that's 98. He's gonna jump up again.
Feels very clear, a little bit more clear of Blake. Probably he's at 246,
246, yeah.
237, and let's see, 32.
From Blake it's 232, so that's another 16 pins is gonna escape from them. And 9 pins extra from Robin, and he's actually just gonna lose 23 to Matthias.
Both him.
But they are super tight. Yeah, look at that. 28-29 for Matthias, 28-25 Blake, and 25-06 for Robin. And if we look at Robin, not a single game below 200. Not even one. When we look at Blake, he just had 199. That's his lowest game. For Matthias in Norway, he had 192. It's the lower game for this round of the top 16. For Finland, it's a 204 actually.
And I think we can throw out my mention that it wasn't going to pick top three because he's jumping to second place. It's probably going to be anything. Probably.
Yeah, but actually you were right. I mean, they are bowling so good that the smallest of the details can make a big difference. If one of them finds a pair that is not suiting their line as good as has been happening, and they drop down, I mean, they're not going to make four. We don't expect them to make any lower games because, as we just said, the lowest game for those four guys was a 192. So probably they're going to keep on striking even if they find a little bit of a tougher pattern, but or tougher pair. But if you make a bad game and you don't take the bonus and the other ones find a good pair and they go for a 250, 260 with the bonus, then all of a sudden you are 90 pins short to any of those.
Do you know if they've played against each other yet? That's going to effectively be a 60 pin.
Yeah,
Just be a
absolutely.
third.
Absolutely. Okay, so what do we have now? We have Robin is playing Andre on lanes 13 and 14. Estonia, who has been feeling quite happy the last couple of games, is on lane 15 and 16 facing Ireland. Just started with the double. Then we have Malta that dropped down a little bit from the cut. It's 30 pins down the cut. Czech Republic is only 5 pins from the cut,
Yeah.
which is currently in New Zealand, Petit with 25-46.
Yeah,
That's 100 pins jump then from the 8th position to the 7th position. And we have, what, 4 games to go?
83. Yeah, that's 4 games to go.
It's a lot of things that still can happen.
So maybe everybody from Sweden and upwards for top 4, they're the only ones that are completely safe, I would say.
Yeah, top 4 they are 250 pins ahead to the cut, so they are happily comfy out there. Singapore is nearly 200. Shouldn't be bad. Shouldn't be bad. He hasn't had any game below 200 either. And if you look at Denmark, it's also 160 pins above the cut. And he only had one game of 185, which was actually game number 1 today. After that, he shot 210 and 260. So, yeah, I mean, when you see the scores, the scratch scores, top 7 is above 226, and then it's when we go down to the 8th place. New Zealand is 215, and Czech Republic is 220. Malta is 217. So we could say those 3 are pretty close in terms of average, and the bonuses can make a big difference on these last 4 games.
Actually, even weights probably got a bit of a chance there. 60 pins up on cut. But it was
Kuwait has a chance, but if you ask me for what I'm seeing, I don't see him bowling as consistent as some of the guys above him. So if we were on Las Vegas and I had to bet, uh, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Don't take me wrong, and a great bowler. It's just that I don't see him, at least at the moment, performing as consistent as some of the guys we see on the top. So he would really need to speed up his game and get a lot of strikes and pray for the others to slow down a little bit. And that is the part that I think is not going to happen.
But now it's because we're playing in Malta.
Who is in the 10th
Yeah,
situation?
so then
So they are fighting. Probably the one losing is going to drop down. 3 games to go, but still mentally you start to put some pressure on yourself, and it's not easy.
yeah,
Okay, we just saw a brave attempt on Bobby. He started with the first 3, then he got it split, which actually was the 2-pin with the 6 and the 10. I've seen some bowlers when they had this kind of a split this week, they want to take 2 pins. They want to
yeah,
take a little bit of extra count on that. Robin, on the other hand, he said like, I'm gonna try to spare it. He didn't take any, so it was a 7-0. That's expensive after a few strikes, but that also tells you how confident Robin is on his game. That he decided, I'm gonna try to spare it no matter what.
all right, it's very good. Today, what fantastic return, 77%.
Hmm? The strike rate though is quite impressive.
Yeah,
62.9.
yeah,
That says it's going to be 7 to 8 strikes every game. That's going to give you a lot of hits.
yeah,
Okay, let's see how these things are going. Lucas, the current leader, started with the front 4 already. So he's going to be happy to be up there and to stay up there. Then let's see, we have Matthias double spare double on lane 3 and 4, which is one of the tough pairs. So he's probably happy about that as well.
Singapore and Sweden. So almost 3 to Singapore. Pretty good. Oh, it's like,
The line was the right one, but maybe slipped away a little bit from the hand. That's a single-handed bowler, and that's one of the things that sometimes happens. You just slip away the ball away from the thumb a little bit too soon, so you don't have the chance to really grip it the same way you have been doing.
you're going to get under the
And
ball.
yeah, exactly. And you miss those couple of reps, and with these urethane balls, they help a lot in terms of control. They have very good carry, but they're not really gonna hook. Can give them some revolutions.
Sometimes if you're lucky, you might lose speed. It's not so devastating.
Okay, where do we have Slovakia? He was the leader during the whole week. He bowled unbelievable, but
Quite a lot.
since the round robin began, he felt like he lost a little bit the rhythm he's got. I would say the cause or the main cause for that happening is that Slovakia was bowling a little bit deeper than everybody else during the week.
Yeah,
And since now it's only 1 bowler per lane and not 2 bowlers per lane, uh, the lane is not opening up fast enough for him. It seems to be traveling through the oil a little bit more than he was doing in the first 3 days. And he's getting a little bit worse carry than he had on the qualifying round.
it's, yeah, and it looks pretty frustrated. Probably doesn't want to play.
No, but I mean, it makes sense when you're leading the whole week and you feel you're up there, and all of a sudden you drop down and you're not finding whatever the feeling you had. It can become a little bit messy on your head, puts you into some doubts, and this game is very unforgiving when your mindset is not on the right spot.
Yeah, and he went into today probably knowing what he needed to gain 200 pins in the quiz.
Yeah,
Might have put some
extra pressure on,
exactly.
extra pressure. Oh, that's a very expensive frame for Matthias there. He had the split, tried to spare it the right way, he just missed a little bit out, and he got the 6-0. that is very expensive at this stage. Lucas, front four, 9-0. Another spare miss, another single ping on.
Sad. Fine. To 45.
Well, we have Rowan with Turkey, 7-0 Turkey. Now he had a soft end. But then, there we go with Estonia missing the single pin again. Guys in the single pins, you strike like machines, but you spell like broken machines.
Oh,
Oh,
5-pin.
5-pin. Oi, oi, oi. 5-pin with a messenger. How about that? And for some reason, the machine just
I looked like it was.
re-racked.
I think it was shaking a bit, so he might have just put down.
Yeah,
They're
gonna have to fix that and correct it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 14.
Now it's also a very interesting moment if you guys are watching and changing from lane to lane. I would suggest to go to lane 5 and 6, not because they are striking a lot. On the contrary, because Blake is not finding the line now, he just moved a little bit deeper. I could see on the ball motion he's changed to a reactive ball for sure. Ball was a little bit more aggressive back the end. He didn't really get it back into the deep pocket. It was pretty light in the pocket. And when he turned around, remember we were talking about the body language. The body language was a little bit surprised, like he was expecting the ball to hook a little bit more than it did. He was talking to his coach. So it's one of those moments that you can learn what the best bowlers, even if they are young ones, what the best bowlers decide to do and how they fight against that transition and what type of movements and ball decision and ball changes they're gonna make. I mean, the more you guys learn about the game and understand about the game, the easier it's gonna become for you to do those changes later on your own.
That match is low scoring.
And if we look at Matias on 3 and 4, if he strikes out, he's gonna be on 215. But it looks like he's gonna lose another game.
Some 11, I think. 4-7.
From 7, 11 and 12.
So maybe he doesn't look at it.
Hmm? Okay, that was Blake on lane 5. He didn't send the ball as far out as he did on lane 6. His body language was a lot more happy. Again, sorry, a frame ago.
18.
Lane 18, yeah, got
Just basically white. First spot. Back in.
he found too much friction, the ball read too early, jumped into the middle of the head pin. And that is also expensive after the turkey. You get that back breaks of 5 fours. They are so annoying, say. And he takes 2 only, that's even more annoying.
By 4 then.
Yeah, because Slovakia is not really finding the carry. He's got 3 nines or 4 nines in 6 frames. Just 1 strike. Look at the lane 15 and 16, Ireland and Estonia. Only strikes and nines, but between the two of them, they missed 3 single pins already. Maybe I'm gonna start doing some coaching on how to spare you guys. It's very simple.
I think we all need that. It's youth players.
No? We spoke a little bit about it yesterday with Albert, and also we spoke a little bit with Jesper a couple of days ago that it would be probably beneficial, especially on this age, if they had the chance to bowl more often, real tough buttons, a little bit more flat patterns, so they wouldn't strike that match. They would start to understand how important it is to really take every single spare. Because, yeah, I mean, it's becoming popular to have easy patterns or high scoring patterns because it always looks better on TV and all that kind of stuff. But it's not always easy pattern. Sometimes it's tough pattern. And then you don't strike that much. You make only 3 or 4 strikes per game. That means you're gonna have to spare 6 times. And unless you are really good at sparing, you're gonna drop so many pins. You're gonna have zero chances to be up on the top.
Yeah, I think I try to practice as much in tougher patterns as I can. I play on the PK Sweden.
It's a regional, yeah.
Yeah, it's been they're pretty tough, but it really does make you feel like
It makes you a better bowler, absolutely. I mean, the easier the pattern and the more room you have to miss, the less you focus on your target. When your brain gets used to look at the very big area down the lane and if I put it somewhere in there, it's going to be easy. I see it today on some of the coaches. Some of the bowlers I coach worldwide. I ask them, okay, where are you looking or where are you trying to hit? Sometimes the answer is between those two arrows, and I'm like, what? I mean, you're looking at such a big area down here. I mean, 4 or 5 boards down here. It's like 10 to 15 boards down there. And back in the day when bowling was a little bit tougher, but accuracy was super important. Not only I would look at certain boards to get there. Sometimes I would even look at the line dividing the boards. That's how small the spot my eyes were trying to hit over and over again. And we said the game is changing, but you need to have some certain accuracy no matter what.
to TV, United States, and they talk about how a one board makes it a pretty big miss,
It
especially on
is.
those patterns that
It
they
is.
bowl on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Games are ending. Matthias, 200. No, 195. So that's the second time he goes below 200, the top 16. And he lost his game. So he was sitting on number 2, but he's probably going to drop down a little bit. Maybe not that much because Robin, he missed on the 10th frame again. So he had twice a 7-0 in this game. So he finished down with a 204 and lost his game. So he's not going to move far up. Who else was stuck there? Australia. Where's Blake? I've lost him. Over here. He's on his way to make 195 if he doubles.
Yeah, he's gonna win no matter what.
He's going to be happy because that bonus is going to keep him on the 200 that Robin has, 10 pins more than Matthias. And I think the one that's going to be very happy and celebrating will be Finland because he shot not a high game, 214. He also missed a single pin, but he managed to win. So that's going to put him on 244 with the bonuses. That's going to help him escape away even a little bit extra.
Big need that we see Malaysia 247 on the win. 100 pins out of cut. That's going to be a big game. It's going to shoot 260. 60 games out of 11. So it's going to give him a chance.
Yeah, the cut is going to be a little bit tighter. It's going to be 4 or 5 bowlers still that they can go in or go out. And yeah, actually, say New Zealand, Czech Republic, Malta, Iceland, even Kuwait has a chance, and Malaysia, as I said, after this high game, he's gonna have his chance again.
Tough Iceland here after so 166.
And also, we're getting into that period of time where transition is gonna start to show up. So you're gonna have to be very aware of what goes on with your next pair in order to move, change ball, or change speed, or whatever the adjustment it may be. You have to be awake, and the sooner you do it, the better.
I think that might have been one of the lowest scoring matches we've had between Australia and Iceland. There they shot 8 score.
337.
Yeah, 337. That's very low.
That's almost, as I said, 340.
Yeah,
So just a single guy could have been two.
yeah. I don't know if that thing was tougher or they both had a rough game. It's hard to say. See what
Well, it
happens in
was
7 days
lane
now.
5 and 6. We've been hearing all week that 3, 4, 5, 6. And nice ending for Nicholas from Denmark, 219, win his game. He was dropping a little bit down. He was currently in 6th position. Not that he was carrying into issues with the cut because he was still 140 pins ahead to the cut. But to make it to 20 and take the bonus is going to make him even a little bit more relaxed for the last couple of games. 2 games to go, right?
Maybe. Yeah, Mate is now first guy on 7 cuts, but 39 back. Hoping I see the game has not been yet. But it's gonna go to 7, so definitely. So
Yeah, he's going to jump in. He's going to jump in. It is going up.
so Malaysia thing, that's more back there. But most of the games, but Malta and Iceland, 84, 6.
Yeah, that's going to be expensive. 2 games to go, transition, pressure. You start thinking about it. I cannot miss here, I cannot miss there. And then you lose some of the focus on what's actually important, which is the performance. It's very hard to do it when you're down. You know, you're just talking on TV. It's very easy to say, you guys should do this and you guys shouldn't do that. But we have to say and we have to admit, as soon as you hit the lanes, the emotions come into play. And it's not that simple to be in control of whatever the feelings you have, whatever is happening on the lanes.
The worst thing you can do is just leave you with, I have to shoot 230 and win.
Yeah,
To make the cuts.
yeah.
So then you're probably not good if you realize that you have to do that.
That was actually one of the things we spoken the last couple of days here on the streaming. You never want to tell your brain, I have to. As soon as you start thinking in that way, I have to, the pressure comes in, the nerves comes in, then it becomes a little bit tougher for you to develop whatever you want to do. And it's always a much better mantra if you repeat yourself, I can and I want to, can and I want to, but never go out saying, I have to. It's just going to make your life tougher. Okay, scores are already updated at the moment. Finland is sitting in a very comfortable spot. He could actually stop bowling 1 game before than the others and he still wouldn't miss the cut. He's currently having 237.3 average. With the bonus is on 3,178 pins. Yes.
Yep.
And then we have Blake on 2nd position with 30.26, so that's 152 pins below the 2nd position. But then look at that. Place number 2, place number 3, place number 4. It's 16 pins only between the 3 of them. That looks like the Formula One we have today when they are doing the qualifying round and they have 10 drivers in like a cent and a half of a second. It's because, and then they say bowling is not interesting. Come on, how can you say that? Bowling is unbelievable. It's so complex. And the more you learn about it, the more passionate you get about it, because then you understand everything that it's involved with it. It's different bowls, it's different cover stocks, it's different cores, it's different oils, it's different lane surfaces, the temperature effects, the humidity effects, the traffic of other bowlers effects. So it's so many things you have to be in control. People talk about golf. Oh yeah, we have a bunker here, we have water hazard there, then we have the wind. You can see the wind. It's blowing one way, it's blowing the other way. The oil, you don't see it. You have to feel it. You have to sense it. So for those that say bowling is just a very simple sport, that's wrong. It's a very complex one. It requires a lot of understanding. And it requires a lot of talent and it requires a lot of workout as well because it's an asymmetrical game in a way. You use one leg and you use the opposite arm. So you have to do a lot of workout in order not to get injured and keep the column aligned and not becoming an S. An S as the letter, just if someone was wondering, I was saying something different. And it is actually a very demanding sport as well because football games, a couple of hours, basketball, a couple of hours. So bowling, sometimes we are bowling all day long. We start 9 in the morning and end up 6 in the evening, and that's actually what's going to happen for some of the bowlers today. They get themselves into the bowling alley at 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Gonna
those,
finish at 7.
that's what I mean. If they get into the step ladder, they're going to end up pretty late. It's a very demanding sport as well.
Yeah, and when you're away for non-championship tournaments, you might want to do 2 re-entries in a day. That could be 18 games.
18 games in a single day,
Yeah.
and just eating a small banana and a piece of chocolate in between squats because you don't really have the time to have a proper lunch. And even if you had that 30-35 minutes, you don't really want to have a big lunch because then when you hit the lanes, all the blood is in the stomach, not in the brain. You're digesting instead of thinking and focusing on whatever you have to do.
I like to limit myself to maximum 2 squats per day. Because I know the third one's going to be good
Yeah.
if I do them.
All right, we know, guys, it's a little bit early, especially for those in Europe. You probably are feeling a little bit sleepy on a Saturday morning. You guys went out and had some fun at the nightclubs, drank something or whatever. You're a little bit feeling on the hangover. But remember, you feel free to do any comments, and if you want to ask something or if you want to have some kind of questions or some kind of doubts about bowling, about the pattern, about the lanes, even about what we see, what goes on, if we want to make some predictions, if you want to talk about of any of the bowlers you have been witnessing these days, we are here for all of you. The main reason we're doing this is to promote bowling, to promote the sport, make it bigger throughout the world, and hopefully sooner, better than later, we become Olympics at the point.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be good. That would help the salaries increase because the bowlers really work out a lot and they don't make as much money as some other sports that they don't really work out that much.
At the same time, I think a lot of bowlers appreciate that they're not worldwide, let's say, celebrities, because it means you can still live the normal life while still being the best.
Yeah, you can live the normal life, but
Yeah.
I don't know. If you ask me, do you prefer to be anonymous and live on $2,000 a month, or do you prefer to be as popular as Messi and live on 20 millions a month? I think I'm still going to choose 20 millions
Oh
a
yeah, of
month.
course.
Imagine if we made 20 millions a month, how many bowling alleys we will all own.
Yeah.
We will own a few bowling alleys, and then we would have many lanes for all of us, and it would be millionaire. Okay, my bowling alley, no two-handers are allowed. Now it's impossible to do those kind of things.
Yeah. So we're almost halfway through I think this is the 6th game of the thing.
Six game, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
5th game of the
12, that's 8 and 4. There's 3 games to go then.
Yeah, so it's the 5th of the day.
Yeah.
Go.
We had skipped one game before. We thought it was 2 to go, but it's actually 3 to go.
Yeah.
You see, we said, guys, it's early in the morning. The coffee has not really kicked on my brain yet. I'm not as awake as I wanted. You gonna grab a coffee, buddy?
I'm having my breakfast on the way, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Need the energy.
I made a mistake of skipping before I headed here.
Oh,
I think when you're gonna bowl, never skip your breakfast.
no, absolutely. You need the energy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What are we doing on? Malta is on 17-18 facing Norway. It's a double and a turkey. So he's on his way on 220 something plus. He could do the 10th frame. Oh, that's a very important 9 pin falling down for Matthias, because otherwise he would be in trouble. He actually gonna need to be striking out again. He's probably gonna make 250 again, and he may lose the game again.
Yeah, because Nicholas.
I mean, he's still a little bit ahead, 6 pins ahead at the moment on this game, but what are the odds that you keep bowling 240, 250, 240, 250, and you lost? I mean, he lost more games than he won, didn't he?
Yes, he's won. Let's
One,
see,
two, three,
five.
four, 5 games he's won, and we have bowled 12 games so far.
Yeah,
So he won 5 and he lost 7 at the 239.5 average.
yeah. And some of his losses have been even bigger than his wins in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
scores.
it's impressive. We're surely gonna have to ask him, what did you do to the other guys that they hate you so much, and you don't manage to really win the games no matter how high you go. Oh, he was lucky here. Look at the 10th frame. Both of them got a big split,
Yeah,
but
he's gonna get away with that, I think.
he's gonna get away with that.
Yeah,
He dropped that, but let's see if he makes top 3, and I can ask him later on, because we right before they made the warm up, I had to chat with him for a little while, and we were actually talking about it. How is it possible that you both such high games and keep losing? And Robert yesterday made a joke at the very last game when he shot to 68 and lost. He said he should think that he made 238 instead and he won.
yeah,
He's going to be happier on his head. So I'm going to ask him, okay, you shot 221, you won because it was a split at the very end, but maybe you're happier when you make 250 something and not win, and instead of making 220 and winning.
yeah. Then you at least know that you have know how to attack things. But well, 220 is never bad. I don't think.
No, I mean, if we look at the cut, it's 218.5 plus some of the bonuses.
Yeah,
So if he makes the 20, even if yeah, especially if he manages to win, that still put him ahead of the cut.
yeah.
Okay.
See, they were actually really fast there on 17, 18. They're done with their game already, and
Yeah.
have three
The
or four
other one,
frames
some of
remaining.
them are on lane 3 and 4, for example. They are still on the 7th frame.
Yeah,
Pretty much the same from lane 7, 8. They are also on the 6th frame, going on their way to the 7th frame.
this is a pretty fun match. Sweden versus Finland there on 5 and 6. Not that important, but
Now,
in the scoring side. But I think it's just a
it's
match that they want to win.
it's the European Derby. That's
Yeah,
the Barca Madrid of bowling, when Finland and Sweden are facing each other. It's the same thing with hockey and some other sports, right?
yeah,
You guys have like a big fight once with the others.
yeah. Yeah, you can see it's a bit like as the derbies in football. Although this is just a one-game match, but I think Robin wants to win this.
Okay, Robin can go up to 248, but if Lucas strikes out, it's going to be on 250 something. So Lucas has it on his hands. He get the first one.
It's cruising along.
Mm.
Wonderful. A pretty big important right there.
I was going to say Malaysia shot 247 on the last game to get only, well, still a bit far from the cut. It's still 97 pins.
It's doable.
But he's working on a way to a 270 game, and if he manages to get the bonus, that's going to be a big jump as well. Since New Zealand, where is New Zealand? It's on lane 3 and 4.
It's on pace for
He's got a lot of 9 pins over there. He's got
208 is the pace at 12. And
238,
yeah,
but he has a lot of single pins. That means the carry is not working that good for him.
let's see roll here.
And let's see how he does. He's also another very, very talented bowler. We have seen him going from one side to the other. We have seen him bowling back up as well. So he's managing to do a lot of things with the balls. No, that was a perfect strike, just to shut me down. So you say I'm not having a good carry, I'm going to make the perfect one. I could see the ball splitting the 8 and 9. in the pocket. So that was a terrific shot.
Jasper is asking, do we think the scoring pace would be higher or lower if they weren't in the Purple Hammer?
Well, that is a very, very, very interesting question, and I would say you would get a different answer if it was a younger person speaking on the microphone. If you ask me, with this pattern that has friction on the outside, if they all used reactive, I'm pretty sure the score would be even higher. Because what really happens when they use reactive resin is that they suck away the oil from the lane, so the area becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and especially when we are on this kind of events where the bowlers are really talented and the coaches are really good coaches as well, they pretty much all find where the spot is on the fresh. So when everybody's using more or less the same spot, the transition becomes very simple. You just keep moving in and keep moving in and keep moving in, and every game that goes on, the lane opens up even more, even more, and even more. But that's my point of view as a older bowler and as a coach. But if you ask some of those kids, they probably would feel a little bit less security on their game if you take away the purple hammer from their hands. And maybe that would give them a little bit of extra pressure on the brain. And obviously, when you have such a high speed and such a high rep rate, the reactive balls can become a little bit sensitive. But in terms of how the lane would go, the lane would definitely become easier for 90% of the bowlers in the planet if they all use reactive instead of just using the urethane. So as I said, that's a very, very interesting question. And as we said a few minutes ago in bowling, nothing is black and white. There's always some answers in the grays.
Yeah.
I hope that solves a little bit your question. And actually, if you're still out there, we would like to know your own opinion. So feel free to text back and tell me I was completely wrong, or tell me you agree. Whatever it is,
I
we'll be
think
happy to see.
I think maybe games 1 and 2 might be pretty similar, but I think the transition is going to hit, or would be hitting a lot lighter, and you would be able to throw some balls that skid down a bit further and still create some good angle to the pocket without the ball burning out.
I mean, after all, if it was a pattern that wouldn't give you much room on the outside, and let's say the first 4 or 5 boards were messy or tricky or not really coming back, then it makes sense to use the urethane balls and to gain control. And but when you see you have friction on boards 1, 2, and 3, that means you have all the lane to use. So you just stay outside at the beginning, and as soon as the lane is drying up, you just keep moving in and moving in and moving in. And especially today, when it's only 7 games and one player per lane, they wouldn't be forced to go all the way into the left gutter and start lofting the ball down there. And what? It's no need for that. It's very little amount of bowlers. Uh, yeah, the lane. I'm pretty sure the lane would just become even easier, and we could see a little bit of that happening on the girls, even if they haven't scored as high as the boys are doing. You can see, or you could see on some of the qualifying days where they used a little bit more reactive than urethane. By the end of the day,
Yeah,
the scores were going a little bit higher comparing to the fresh.
I tried pattern after one of the girls' squads the other day, and I found that I played reactive on that, and it didn't seem too hard. I managed to make it work, and that's probably because they were playing a bit more. I was basically playing straight from the outside, lofting it a bit to
Hmm.
get it through the front, and with a weak symmetric ball,
Hmm.
and I still managed to get them back in. So I think the girls, as you say, make the pattern easier than the boys make. I haven't actually had the chance to try it after the boys
After
go.
the boys, yeah.
I
Yeah.
would like to have that chance. It's probably difficult.
Okay, let's see what we have over here. Let's have a look. Blake shot 246 to beat Estonia, so that's going to give him a very comfortable moment up there. He was currently 2 pins ahead of Matthias from Norway. Matthias shot 221. He also won his game. But that gives Blake another 25 pins of advantage. It was 2 pins of difference, so now it's going to be 27. Robin, who was sitting on the 4th place, he shot 238, but he lost against Finland with 251. So that's going to put Finland ahead. Finland is going to escape, definitely. Robin is going to probably stay on the 4th place because Denmark, what was Denmark? I lost him. 220, 220, yeah, 220, and he wins. So Denmark probably is going to stay on the same spot that he is now. Singapore was only 3 pins behind. And
a huge game from Malaysia, 268.
268 for Malaysia, yeah, he's crawling all the way up to get close to the cut. We said before it was 97. The guy he was trying to catch was Petit, who actually shot 217 and lost.
Yeah.
So that means it's getting closer now. It's going to be about 15 to 20 pins only short to the cut at the moment.
Yeah, so I think maybe the Czech Republic jumped inside the cut. It fell out, but Malaysia did not go in.
Estonia managed to stay in, and
Yeah,
Czech Republic is made all the way in. So now top 6 seems to be quite secure.
Yeah.
We would say top 5 is already there. It's 160 pins with 2 games to go.
I think Singapore is going to need a really low game if he were to miss the cut.
To miss the cut, yeah, because it's 105 pins ahead of Estonia, which is currently on the 8th position. But that's also another 20 pins to New Zealand, which is now on the 9th position. Malaysia with after 247, 268 on both bonuses. He got a lot closer to the cut. It's only 23 pins behind the cut at the moment. Yeah.
Actually weighs 60, so an outside chance maybe, but I don't think I wouldn't put my money on him.
No. That's what we said. I mean, he's a very good bowler. Most of them over there, I mean, I don't think we have any untalented bowler bowling at the moment at all. All of them are really good. But you can see some feel a little bit more confident, some are a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. And as you were saying, Lucas managed just from almost a 240 average and winning all games bar one.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And now, for the first time, I actually see Finland is above in average, even against Norway. It's only 0.4 pins average difference. But come on, I mean, we're talking about the walk up. We're talking about all the freaking pressure it runs over there. And the fact that you managed to bowl 230, 240 average in this atmosphere, in these moments where, I mean, you're competing to become a world champion. That has to put some pressure on you for sure. And these guys are bowling unbelievable high. They are bowling unbelievably consistent. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy that I'm up here because it's always nice to discover the new talent and get to see what's coming on and which bowlers are going to dominate the next couple of decades. And at least there's 3 or 4 bowlers in here that they're going to be on the top of the bowling for quite some time. I would be surprised if we don't see pretty soon these guys hitting the PBA, even if they are pretty young. I mean, I can see Matthias bowling the PBA easily. I can see Robin playing on the PBA easily. Ben, obviously, Blake, obviously, is going to be bowling. He's already in the United States, so he's going to jump up into the PBA pretty soon. And I think Lucas already could go out there and do some pain as well.
Second here. Microphone is having some troubles. Yeah. I think it's working now. If the mixer in the Stream is to be believed. But hello,
Uh-huh.
hello.
So was I talking to my own then?
Yeah, maybe. I
I've
don't
been
know.
talking to myself for a while. Well, thankfully I'm a very funny person, and I have a very easy ability to answer to myself. So if you guys haven't heard me for a while and I was talking on my own, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Nothing interesting I have said in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I, I think should be.
You can always blame it on the DJ. He made the wrong connections and the wrong cable connections.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello, hello. If you haven't heard me before.
Okay, so if you haven't heard Victor before, you could hear him like far away, it's because his microphone seemed to be have had some kind of an issue. And if you heard him very low, it's because he's not standing in front of my own microphone. He has his own microphone, and you could hear him a little bit lower because he's sitting half a meter away from my own microphone. So, but hopefully now you guys can hear us properly. And yeah, I mean we're not the stars anyway. The main thing is what's going on the lanes, and I must say what's going on the lanes is mesmerizing. We have again Matthias now on lane 13 and 14, front five. Let's see, we have Robin. He's playing on lane 7 and 8. He's got double, 9 spare double. Estonia, again, is starting with the front 4.
Yeah,
And we have another Scandinavian derby. That one is not that much of a derby. They're not neighbors. They have a bit of a distance between them, but it's we're facing Finland against Denmark
yeah.
on 11 and 12.
One thing I just actually realized is that even if you're safe of the cut, you might want to get as high up as possible to get a better seed in the knockout to get maybe a little less comfortable opponent maybe because, for example, first place is gonna bowl 8th.
Yeah, but then when you get to those stages, I mean, sometimes you're being up there, you've been number one, and then you go bold on number 8. I had this experience on European Championships, actually, a singles European Championships in I think it was in Greece, 2009 or something like that. I managed to lead the squad after all the games, and then it was the top 8 thing. And we used the pair on the bowling alley that we haven't used during the rest of the week. Unfortunately, the right lane hooked a little bit too much for me, and it was the times that we had the double pattern. We had the long pattern and the short pattern. And since I really love to bowl outside, and I was on the top seat, I decided to bowl short, long, short. Actually, I shot 190 on the short, 270 on the long, and another game of 190 on the short. So I was out of the tournament. And sometimes it doesn't really matter how high you get into the final because, yeah, it's too many things happening around. So
Yeah,
the one thing you have to make sure is just to keep advancing on the cut. That's the only thing that
yeah,
really matters. Go on, make it onto top 8. Doesn't matter if you first or last, but make it into the next step and the next stage. And then just bowl your best and wish for the best to happen. And it can happen. You can bowl. I mean, we have been talking about it about Norway, for example. He's been losing a lot of games with 240, 250, 268. He lost the game with a 268.
yeah. You don't want
So,
to face
I
him.
mean, if you make 260, 260 and you don't win, you cannot be angry.
No, exactly.
You did your best.
I think when you get to the knockouts, I don't think we're gonna see many matches where the chances are worse or better than 60-40 maybe, or maybe 70-30.
No,
You're
no,
never gonna be guaranteed.
absolutely, absolutely.
So how's Malaysia doing here as he's trying to hunt down that position for the cut?
Malaysia is on strike, 3 spares strike. Is bowling against Ireland on lanes 5 and 6.
Yeah, gets a double there.
He gets a double there, and he's still fighting for it. And New Zealand, well, they have New Zealand. He's also striking a lot on lanes 17 and 18.
He's got an open frame there in third.
He's got an open frame, and now he's got the 10 pin, a little bit soft, a little bit weak.
Yeah, and we see Kuwait working on a 4-bagger at the moment, which he needs if he wants.
Yeah, I
to change
mean,
the cut.
even Kuwait, it felt like he was a little bit far away, but it's actually only 59 pins from the cut.
2 good games and he's there.
Yes. And unfortunately for Malta, he keeps dropping down a few spots. If you look at him, on the last 6 games, he hasn't won a single one.
Nope.
So I guess that's a little bit paying some pain into his mind, because he's bowling okay, he's fighting okay, but it doesn't really manage to win the game at the end. So yeah, when I look back at lane 13 and 14, Matthias is on the way for at least 240, 250, but he still has not got the game in his pocket. I mean, if this guy loses another game with a 250, it's gonna be unbelievable.
I'm trying to look at some stats here throughout the entire championship. So it says here that the overall strike rate for the guys and the girls has been 50%.
50% strike rate, and that's men and women all together, yeah?
Yeah. And we've actually had 109 games in the 250s or higher.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of high games. Okay, Robin needs this strike, and he gets it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be very pleased. He really needed that one. Otherwise, it was short. Actually needs one more, because Simone, he's got a split. He's got a split on the 10th frame, so he's gonna drop down to the 240. So with that double, or well, it was the 4th in a row, but with that strike at the 10, Robin's gonna make it. He's gonna take a high game, and he's gonna get the bonus, so he's gonna be going a little bit up. Especially since Blake is not gonna have a very high game. He's currently 10 below the par with 2 frames to go. And the only thing that's gonna save him is that Malta is not carrying at all. He's got 9 spare, 9 spare, double, 9 spare, strike 9 spare, strike 9.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just noticing now that when we're talking about how close Kuwait could get to the cut, he's actually playing against the current cut, which is Estonia. And they're both shooting really high.
And they're both going high, that's true.
Yeah. But it does look like Estonia has about a 20 pin lead.
Yeah, Estonia is working on the way for a 279, while the other one could shoot 258.
Yes.
I mean, he still has a chance. He has to strike out and pray for Estonia not to strike on the 10th frame.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. If Kuwait strikes out, then Estonia is not allowed to strike in the first shot of the 10th.
And we got another single pin for Malta, so
4 pin, so it might have been coming a bit too high.
It's gonna put him on 207 if his person strikes, so that opens the door for Blake to strike out and take the bonus. He's got the first one. He needs just one more and 8 pins to secure the bonus.
Yeah, and a 10 pin there for Kuwait, so that game is going to go to Estonia.
And if we look at Matthias on 13 and 14, the guy from Norway, he almost lost another game with a 250. He shot 254. His opponent is going to shoot 244. So they are really making him work, right?
Yeah.
They are not allowing an easy win at all.
Yeah, he actually won the last one with only a 220, which is yeah, that is his lowest scoring win he's had.
That's true.
And it's also lower than a lot of his losses he's had.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 255 to 244, assuming making our own strikes.
Okay, Malaysia. Fighting Ireland. Ireland's got now 4 in a row. So he's actually leading that match. That could be a very expensive lose or lost if Malaysia doesn't accomplish this victory.
Especially since
And
Estonia is on a 279.
oh, look at Robin. Robin won by 2 pins just because Simon had an open frame on the 10th.
Yeah. And he had 9 miss instead. That would have been a tie. If I'm counting that correct.
Yes. One more for Blake.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, 4-9.
the top 4 bowlers is really
I
clear
think I
who's
just
gonna
saw
be it.
Denmark throw a ball in the gutter. On the level.
Oh wait. Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah. Gutter ball in the second shot of the 10th frame. After double.
He's gonna win the game though.
Yeah. That's
But
what
half the bonus just disappeared with that ball in the gutter.
yeah. Malaysia gets a big strike there. That's gonna be important since
Very
Ireland
important
got a
since
4-9.
Ireland got the 4-9. Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
And they are actually making numbers. I think Ireland is going to try to hit 1 pin only and force Malaysia to double or to actually take a turkey if he wants to win the. You see, he went for 1 pin.
Oh, that was actually not that bad of an attempt.
I was close to the spell, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw he was turning around talking to Chris Lohan, PBA bowler, and he's becoming the coach for Ireland the last couple of days. And he was pointing like with one finger, like index finger, like, should I take one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
I don't think it really matters. I think he just needs 8 or 9 in 2 shots.
yeah, but I think he wants to double so he gets closer to whatever the pin count is for. Yeah, and he got it. He's got it. So he's going on his way for 220 something plus the bonus.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. New Zealand, he also had 220, but he lost. So that's gonna make Malaysia and New Zealand swap spots.
Yeah.
And Estonia, where was Estonia bowling?
And I think Czech Republic is gonna bowl 220 and lose.
Estonia is over there with
yeah.
a very high game.
Yeah.
So he's gonna move a little bit higher or a little bit further away from the 9th and 10th position. And then we should find out with Czech Republic, which is over here with a 220, but he's gonna lose
to Singapore with a.
So he's probably gonna drop down to the 8th spot with 1 game to go.
1 game to go.
1 game to go, and everything is yet to be decided. It's gonna be a very dramatic moment for some of the kids out there. I mean, I definitely wouldn't like to be on their spot at the moment. I don't want to be on their shoes.
Let's just wait for the final scores to come in.
Especially if you get to think about it, it's going to be the first time they're going to be on those shoes, and they have a long career ahead. So hopefully they're going to learn from this experience, and obviously we are neutral, so we wish the best of luck to all of them. They have amazing bowling skills. I mean, if we look at the scoring now, Malaysia is 9th.
Just wait for the final score to
220. Oh yeah, there's 1 score missing. That's true.
But we know that that's a 224.
But he's bowling 220 average, which is very good. 220.6 for Kuwait, 218.6 for New Zealand. And the fact that you can be bowling 220 and still be a little bit in the mess, that tells you how good everything is going on for the rest of the guys.
Yeah. It looks currently like Malaysia is going to be about 12 pins outside the cut, if I'm not completely off. And then we have New Zealand 30 pins outside the cut at the moment. So it's going to be a important last game. You have to say Kuwait almost needs to shoot basically 300 here if he's going to grab the final spot.
We have to see who they are facing as well.
Yeah, and it looks like
Okay, Czech Republic is now in the 8th place. He's gonna bowl on lane 5 and 6, which is not one of the easiest pairs in the house. And he's facing Denmark,
Who has been doing very
who has
well.
been doing quite consistent during the whole week. So it's not gonna be an easy game for Czech Republic in order to stay up there. And it's only 12 pins ahead of Malaysia.
Who is playing against Australia, who has been
And
doing very
Malaysia
well
is
today.
bowling against Blake, but Malaysia has been bowling pretty high on the last 3 games.
Yeah, he's
It's been
working.
on 130 over for the past 3 games.
Yeah, 730 in 3 games. That's very good. And Blake's coming off of 3, well, 1 pretty low game, 1 alright game, and 1 good game.
Also, Petit still has a chance.
Yeah.
He's sitting down at, let me see, 31 pins ahead, behind the Czech Republic.
Yeah. So basically what he needs
So
to
if
do
he
is
gets,
win.
win and get a high game.
Yeah.
But he started with an open frame,
Where is he?
lane 9 and 10, and he's actually facing Robin. And we all know that Robin feels quite comfortable by the end of the squad when he's moving a little bit deeper and slow hooking the ball.
For sure.
No, nothing is completely set, definitely. We're going to have to wait for the very last frames and see what goes on. It's going to be a very emotional game. Things are going to be changing on every frame.
Yeah.
Unless someone goes crazy and starts striking and striking and striking, and yeah.
Yeah, I think Estonia, for example, that 275 in the last game, he's probably safe now unless he shoots a really low game.
While he's currently 75 pins ahead of Malaysia. So he shouldn't get himself into any messy situation.
But he's playing against Norway, which is a tough opponent. Matthias, who is on a roll as well.
Yeah, but also Matthias is very friendly to all the guys by giving away the bonus so often.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Estonia. One open frame, no strike so far.
Leaves a 4-pin there.
Czech Republic just got the double.
Yeah.
So taking the lead on his game or his match against Nicolas from Denmark. He really needs that.
The first 2
Malaysia
there for
started
Malaysia.
with the first 2 strikes. Only spares for Blake so far. And in case you're wondering, Singapore is on the 6th place, but there's no way he's gonna get out. He's 150 pins ahead to the cut. Even with 30 pins bonuses and a very low game, I mean, I think he's already top 6. We could say they are already advancing into the top 8, and that's going to be Finland, Norway, Australia, Sweden, Denmark, and Singapore. Estonia has a fairly good chance if he doesn't do any crazy things on this game.
He just needs to keep it together.
And Czech Republic needs to make sure they make a good game as well, so it doesn't put him into any kind of trouble. And he's doing
good. That's a good shot.
It's also another bowler that seems to be bowling just slightly deeper than the rest of them. So as soon as the day goes on and the transition shows up, he seems to feel himself a little bit more comfortable than when he's bowling on the fresh. He started a little bit lower today, 168, 186, but then the last 3 games has been 248, 229, 224, and now he's already on Turkey. So yeah, they're not gonna make it easy for Malaysia, even if Malaysia is trying hard. Started with Turkey, first 3 strikes. The same time Blake got 3 times 9 spare.
And now I think we can, unfortunate to say that it's probably over for Kuwait. He had 70 pins up to the cut and he's got 55 in the fourth frame.
Yeah, that's gonna be it for Kuwait, 100% for sure. Same thing for our Iceland. It's already gone. Malta has lost his way as well, so he's not gonna make it. And now the only guys who have a real true chance to make it in, I would say even New Zealand is going to be a little bit in trouble. He's got an open frame and he hasn't doubled yet all the way to the fourth
Oh.
frame.
3 in the corner for Denmark.
Oh yeah.
And that's after a gutter ball in the last game as well.
You think he took the wrong ball? Maybe used the spare ball without noticing?
I don't think so, but he must have just missed way right.
Now if it was a football transmission, we would kindly ask our image provider to make a rewind so we could see what had happened on that shot. Probably he just hang too much the ball in the gutter and found some previous oil track down there. Little bit of humidity, and that's why the ball didn't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 and 5. That's a very expensive frame.
It reminds you a bit of that Graham Farr shots on TV when he picked up only the 7 pin.
Yeah, that was impressive as well.
Yeah. This wasn't as bad, but
well, this frame is gonna make Czech Republic super happy because that puts him down to 81 on the 5th frame. While Czech Republic is working on 4 in a row, looking to make the 5th one.
Especially since Malaysia actually got an open here on the 4th.
And Malaysia open on the 4th, yeah, that's gonna... Czech Republic is gonna be very, very happy. Even if he's asking for the ball to come back.
Yeah. We might have another strike from the Czech Republic. Yeah, there we go.
We have some comments over there. I can see Hans-Jorn Mortensen says, okay, a lot of these guys are good, but on the PBA they will meet some much more difficult oil patterns. I agree with you. I mean, it's not as simple as most of the amateur bowling patterns we face. But then on the other hand, they are so young and so talented that the brain works in a way that as soon as they start bowling on tougher patterns, they're gonna get their eyes trained, they're gonna get used to having less room to miss. And obviously I'm not saying that all of them are PBA material or PBA ready, but I've seen a lot of the PBA bowlers. I bowled among them were during my career, and I tell you, these kids are very good. These kids are really, really good. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of consistency. They hit the target over and over again. And one of the good things on the PBA, even if the patterns are tougher, you know the patterns right before the season starts. So you can prepare yourself. You can go and practice on the Scorpion, or you can practice on the Chameleon, or whatever the patterns they choose to. And when you are that young, I mean, there's only only room for improvement and becoming better and better and better. So we can see already. I mean, if you saw the playoffs and all the PBA Tour this season, we have seen a lot of wins from people who are actually not American bowlers. So that proves it's a lot of talent all around the world. It's a lot of talent all around the planet. You can see amazing bowlers in every single country you go. And a little bit like the NBA, I'm expecting the PBA to get even more open in the near future. Bowling has changed a lot since the two hands. There's also one big advantage on becoming a two-hander if you're a bowler from one of those countries that doesn't have that much history on the game. And the thing is that ball drillers, pro shop owners and ball drillers at some countries, unfortunately, they don't have access to as much information as some others, and they are not that good on measuring their hands and measuring your span and making sure how to make the thumb oval and how to give you the right angles or how to make small adjustments for you to release the ball a little bit better. And these guys, as a two-handers, they don't use the thumb anymore. They don't have that issues with spans, and they don't have issues with the gripping feeling. Every ball is gonna feel the same, and not every ball is gonna feel slightly different. And those are also small advantages that bowlers, single-hand bowlers, 20 years ago they did not have. So obviously it's a very interesting topic. It would be hours to talk about it, and we would all have different points of view and valid ways to explain why we see the things the way we see them. I mean, the older we get, the more we understand that it's not about being right. It's about telling your opinion and listening to the other's opinion so you can learn something new as well and become better at whatever you is. And not only bowling, every aspect in life. Do we have any more comments? Because it's quite a few pages we have streaming at the same time. So, Rasmus Dahlin, what are the requirements? How do you qualify for the PBA Tour? I do not follow PBA Pro Bowling that much. Well, you're actually asking the wrong guy because it's the same thing for me. I don't really follow the PBA that much. I only have the I only look at the TV shows when some of my friends are there. If none of my friends is at the TV show, I just don't watch it. And there should be some ruling, but it has kept changing from year to year. So, Victor, you have any idea how the PBA tour is working now? What are the requirements in order for you to go to the PBA?
Yeah, so the main way to get in is obviously through the PTQs that are before every tournament or most of the tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Or
So it's like a previous round, right?
Yeah,
Before
it's
the
usually
event goes on.
like 8 games, for example, and well, it's really hard to get through. There are
A
maybe
bunch of good bowlers
maybe
trying to
50
make it, of
bowlers vying
course.
for 5 spots, and in 8 games that's pretty hard. Well, another way is obviously the World Series or the USBC Masters. They are a bit more open events,
Mm-hmm.
which if you perform well there, you get enough PBA Tour points to get into the, I think it's the top 53 from each year that get.
You get the exemption for
Exactly.
the next season.
And if you win a
or the
title,
rest
you
of
also
the
get that.
season.
So that's
So we could say it resembles
yeah, or win the Lucky Larson Masters.
win the Lucky Larson, and then you make the spot. And
Yeah.
that's one of the tournaments you definitely don't want to miss.
Yeah.
This bowling alley is so welcomely for everybody.
Or
They are friendly. They have an amazing food. They have always that charisma and party animal kind of atmosphere going on. So it's a lot more than just bowling. It's one of those. It's one of those events you don't want to miss.
definitely not. Actually, one more way is to play on the PBA Sweden tour and get, I think it's the top 3 there, and you get a spot in what's called the PBA Tour Trials at the end of the year, where you can qualify to earn one of those spots, which is, for example, what we saw Chris Sloan do last year, where he put in a 4 or 5 bagger in the end to secure his spot on the 25 tour.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Okay, that's it, right? That was the last game.
Yeah.
I think we should hide the comments window for a second so we can really have a good view at the scoring and let you know what's really happening.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Czech Republic making it through.
Yeah, Czech Republic. Even if Denmark is pushing very, very hard to try to get back on that game.
Actually, maybe I'm wrong there because Malaysia might be winning and he might be losing. Depends on what happens now.
Ooh, what a strike for Denmark with the 2-pin falling front.
Yeah.
He can go all the way to 231. So, but if Czech Republic strikes now, he's gonna make it in.
Oh,
Oh, solid 9. Oi, 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 oi.
what a shot!
That's what we say.
Yeah,
Bowling is, you need to wait until the very last moment to see what goes on.
he's gonna make that now, I think. Or he's got to pick that one up. If he picks it up, I think he's safe.
I see Estonia had a 171 game. That's gonna put him a
You're
little
right.
bit lower on the cut. Actually, Czech Republic can overtake Estonian's place and leave Estonian on top 8.
Yeah, I've lost track of where New Zealand is. He lost, or did he win? I
No,
don't
New
know.
Zealand had the low game,
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
192, and he lost against Robin, so New Zealand is out of the picture. Kuwait, we said he was already out of the picture.
Yeah,
Malaysia working on a spare,
I think
so
it's
it's
over.
going to be a low game for him.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunately over there because
200 against 200. So that
yeah,
even if he managed to win the game, it's not going to be enough for him.
yeah, he's gonna get an effective
Czech
230
Republic shot 238,
and
won his
wins.
game, so that's going to secure his spot on the top 8 for sure.
Yeah, because I see now that Malaysia would need 246, including bonus scores, to overtake Estonia, which is gonna come up just short of.
It's going to be about 15 pins short, so Malaysia is going to feel a little bit upset after that. He was close, started with the three strikes in the game, but then he just couldn't strike
And he
anymore.
actually
And yeah, the
loses game
body
then.
language is telling us
Disappointing.
he's not happy. He's a little bit upset.
It's
Uh,
disappointing, of course, when you that close and
yeah,
come up just short.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and don't forget, he bowled 220 average. It's not that he bowled bad. It's not that he bowled. It's just that the other bowlers bowled even better.
Yeah,
And just for the fun of it, let me see where is Norway. What did he shoot?
222.
222, and he won. Yeah, Estonia. Yeah, because if it was facing Estonia, we just shot 170. All right, that's pretty interesting. That was quite an interesting morning. Interesting squad. A lot of emotions going on. A lot of movements on the cut zone, more or less. Nothing changed on the top, or pretty much nothing changed on the top. The top 4 bowlers kept staying up there all day long. It was a bit of a dance between Norway, Australia, and Sweden. They have been going up and down on those 3 spots between second and fourth place. And unless I'm wrong, we have all the scores at the moment, right?
Everybody except Singapore is in. Let's just refresh and
Singapore has not
see.
charged the score yet, so we're gonna give you guys a resume of what we have at the moment.
He's not gonna overtake anybody, so
Now, the
he's good.
leader is gonna be Finland. He bowled a 234.2 average. Amazingly, he lost the last couple of games. He shot just 206, 206. He probably relaxed himself. He was like, why should I waste any more energy? I'm already on the top, and I'm going to need the energy later on in the day. Norway, 238.1 average. He was by far the highest average on this round. Then we have Blake on the third position with 225.5 average, but 390 pins and bonus, and that was actually the difference. That's why he's on sitting above Robin from Sweden. Robin bowled 230.1 average. He's got 300 pins on bonuses, so he ended up at the fourth place with 37.51. Denmark's going to be sitting on the fifth place, 36.97. Then we got Singapore, Czech Republic, and Estonia. Those are the 8 guys that are going to fight later on to become the new Youth World Cup winner. I hope you guys having a lot of fun. We're going to take a small break now so we can have a cup of coffee and go quickly take the interview to the top 3 bowlers. And we'll be back as soon as possible with the Kill Squad. Good day, everybody.
Everybody. Hold on for a bit. There we go.
They're all on.
Yeah.